Hello and welcome to the Real Time Fantasy Sports Show. I'm Jeff Power, senior writer with Real Time Fantasy Sports, joined by Logan Glasser of Real Time Fantasy Sports as well. Logan, thanks for coming on the show with me once again today.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, Jeff. It's playoff time.
It's playoff time, and that does not mean your fantasy season has to end. That's why we're on the show today. We want to do a quick overview of all the playoff offerings we have here at Real Time Fantasy Sports. We have a ton of games. They're a lot of fun. There's different price points, so you don't have to jump in for a lot of money if you want to do something small. If you want to do something big, we have that too. But there's all sorts of different things we have to offer here at Real Time Fantasy Sports, Logan, and I'm excited about it this year. I don't know about you.
Yeah, I'm thrilled. Playoffs can go any type of way this year. I feel like any team could come through. Usually, when we're looking at the playoffs, it's one of the top teams have a dominant team. I don't think that's the case this year. I mean, you can make the case for Baltimore and San Francisco, but I think it's open this year, and there's going to be a lot of strategy in these playoff leagues surrounding that. Who you choose, which teams, who makes it the furthest, because that's what you're kind of looking for in these playoff leagues.
That's why I like these playoff leagues. They're different. There's something different. It's not how you play normal fantasy. There's different strategy. There's different types of contests as well, where you can pick your entire roster beforehand, and then there's strategy on who you think is going to advance. So you want to pick the right players with that. You want to pick some players that could surprise some teams that might advance, and then there's also regular drafts as well. So there's all sorts of different options. I'm going to briefly bring up the screen here of what we have to offer, and then we'll go into each game. So, Logan, first of all, we have the big wager wire postseason shootout contest, which is $100,000 grand prize. That's our big one. Then we have our best ball championship, which is a $10,000 grand prize with that. That's a draft. Individual leagues, there's drafting. Then there's overall championship too, just like our championship that we do with regular season. Then we have our overtime leagues, which are drafts for that, which are a lot of fun as well. And then playoff challenge fantasy football. That's really popular, where you just kind of pick your lineup and then you get placed in a league with that. And then we have DFS, and then also our playoff commissioner leagues as well. So, Logan, we have all different options for fantasy football in the playoffs for sure, right?
Yep. Yeah, like you said, all different options, all different strategy involved in each one of these games. It's each game is so different and unique with the strategy that it's really important to make sure you understand the rules with that, and then take a chance on some of your teams with them.
Yeah, exactly. And if you want to see any of these leagues, go to rtsports.com. You click on that money league link under the football heading, and this page that you're looking at comes up right here. You can go in the specific rules for all these and see the costs and everything there. So again, go to rtsports.com, click on that money league link, and then you can see the specific games in there. But we're going to go over each game here briefly and let you know what they all entail. Our first one is the big wager wire postseason shootout, $100,000 grand prize, $224,000 in prizes, pays out 200 places deep. Logan, if you want to briefly explain how this works to everybody out there so they know.
Yeah, for sure. So you're going to select a roster size of 10. Max you can have is 2 per NFL team. So you're going to create that roster size of 10 with the positions on that. $100,000 to first place. Lineups will lock at the start of the first playoff game. So you can see everyone's rosters then, compare your lineups with everyone. And you can't make any changes after that first game. So you're stuck with that team. So the strategy really is to select players that are going to score a lot in these playoff games. Also to kind of stack with who you think is going to make it further in the playoffs with that.
Yeah, there's definitely, you can only pick two from each team, NFL team. So to me, I think you want to find one of those wild card teams that advances to the championship game in each division. That's
Yeah.
what you want to try to figure out so you can maximize each week as much as you can and find those players that are going to score a lot. So if you like Detroit to win a couple games, maybe you go get Amon-Ra St. Brown, who's been tremendous down the stretch, or Jahmyr Gibbs as well. But it's a fun contest. It has a great leaderboard too. I'm not going to show that here, but we'll get into the contest more Thursday during our show as well that we do. But it's a lot of fun to follow this one too. I just think it's a great leaderboard, and it's very popular also, Logan.
Yep, for sure. Absolutely.
Yeah, and also with this contest, we're excited to be have WagerWire as our postseason shootout sponsor this year. It's a lot of fun to collaborate with them, so don't forget to check them out as well. We're proud to work with them, and as you can see, it's 30% sold out, and it sells out every year normally, Logan. So sign up sooner than later. You don't have to select your lineup just yet, but I would advise getting in this contest sooner than later before it fills up. All right, Logan, our next one is the Best Ball Championship. As you can see, that's 42% sold out. Again, this is similar to our best ball games that we do during the regular season, except it's a lot smaller lineups. But if you want to go over the rules for this one briefly here, Logan.
Yeah, so this is an overall championship format, so you're competing just not only within your own league, but the overall, with all that, there's, 1,998 teams total, $20 to enter, and then as you can see, there are $10,000 to first place. League prizes, if you win your league, it's $60, and then you've got some overall championship prizes with that. As we mentioned, this is a best ball format, so go ahead and take risk on a couple of boomer bust plays. You can see the roster format there, 10 players on your roster, QB, running back, 2 wide receivers / tight end, and a flex spot. So you'll have 5 players on your bench. So
You can pick from any team here, though, right? There's
any
no
team that
roster
you
limit
want,
because
and
it's a
this is
draft.
yeah, this is a draft format.
Yeah,
So this
exactly.
is a snake draft, 6-team leagues with this. So you're competing against 5 other teams in your league.
Yep. This should sell out as well. Again, sign up sooner than later. You don't have to draft right away, but I advise I made these slides about, I don't know, half hour ago, and it's already different than what's showing on our site. So it's already
Yeah, this
it's
one will sell out before Friday is my guess. So playoff game starts Saturday after late afternoon. My guess this will sell out Friday. Is this has become very popular. We're filling about 15 to 20 of these a day.
awesome. It's a great contest too, just like that postseason shootout. It's a big one, so you got a chance to win some big prizes. So a lot of fun. Please take advantage of this. I think you would enjoy it, especially if you've never done a best ball. Let's move on to the next offering for us. It's our overtime leagues. This is a draft where you draft your team for the NFL playoffs. It's kind of similar to the best ball format, but you set your lineups, correct? With this one,
Yeah,
that's the only
correct.
difference.
Yeah, you'll set your lineup for this. So there's 8 starters, 6 bench spots. This is personally my favorite. The next one that we're going to talk about is our most popular, but this is personally my favorite just because the strategy involved with the draft aspect, along with setting your lineup each week. I'm kind of looking to get a couple of Baltimore and San Francisco guys early on in these drafts, and then you can just go ahead and put them on your bench spot, and then you go get stars at the end. Like if you get McCaffrey in the first round, set him on your bench. You can go get Aaron Jones in the last round and then use him as your starter week 1, and then you got McCaffrey right back in there.
That's true. That's a great point. And these are drafts as well. And they go quick because it's a lot smaller leagues. And so you can knock these drafts out in, I don't know, a half hour or so, if I'm not
Yeah, and
mistaken.
it's crazy because you're gonna have $250, $500 leagues, and
Yeah.
the draft lasts 10 minutes with those, and you can win a couple thousand.
Yeah, it's different price points too. So the other ones are set obviously because they're championships, but these you can play anywhere from 20 to $500. So we have all different draft times. So if you click on the draft times link there, you can see what's available. So that's the overtime one. So like you mentioned, you tease this next one, the playoff challenge. It's our most popular. So this is not a draft. It's where it's kind of similar to the wager wire one, but you can select any players you want from any amount of teams, if I'm not mistaken, right, Logan?
Correct, yeah, you can
You can
select
take
anyone
all
that you like.
49ers if you want.
Correct. Yeah, you could. Absolutely. Some people kind of do that. Some people do not select a defense or a kicker just because they would rather have positions elsewhere. Based off of what I've seen, usually a team that does win this type of league does select a defense and kicker. But you'll usually see 2 or 3 teams in each league that don't select that. But you'll have 8 starters, 6 bench spots. With that, and these are, as it states, are most popular. If you look in the draft lobby, these fill so fastly, and it's just automatically renewed for a new league to pop up, and it's constantly filling.
Yeah, and again, similar to the overtime ones, different price points. You can play from 20 to $500. And again, not a draft here. This is the pick your roster before the playoffs and then put it to use. So that's another exciting game on our site. Playoff Challenge Fantasy Football, very popular. Our next one we just want to talk about briefly is DFS. So we have this all the time, but we have different games for the playoffs as well. So we have great price points with these, and I like to say we don't have the sharks in our DFS leagues,
Yeah.
so don't be scared away. But I mean, can you talk about some of the offerings we have for
Yeah,
DFS?
for sure. Yeah, we've got overall championship tournaments with this where you're competing against 200 people in kind of like a tournaments format. We've got 400 teams in that. We also have 50-50s, also individual drafts. If you just want to draft a team for this week against people, you can go head to head with others, 6-man leagues and such with that. And then we also have DFS Pick'em where you can choose more or less on players' totals, like projected touchdowns, projected yards, and such with that. So, and you can earn up to 40 times your entry fee on that by going 6 for 6. Or if you only want to select two, and you can earn 3 times your entry fee on that.
Nice. Last week we did a DFS for our show, our Thursday show. We normally do Logan our lineup, and I will say mine did well. I scored like 170 points. I had Nico Collins and
Oh
CJ
yeah,
Stroud as my stack,
that
if
they
you
had a
remember.
great connection with that for sure.
I did not have CD Lamb though, but yeah, regardless, it's a lot of fun to play DFS. If you've never done it, maybe try it for the playoffs. So we have a lot of offerings with that. And lastly is our playoff commissioner league. So you can do all these leagues with your friends. So if you want to set up a commissioner league, you can do all these different formats. You can do the one and done. You can do the best ball. You can do the traditional. You can do anything you'd like to do that our different playoff offerings. There's all
Yeah,
different
so many
options.
different styles. Like
Yep.
it says, you can do one and done, best ball, traditional. You can do a draft format where you go draft against your friends and such with that. And you can actually, where it says up to 100 teams, you can actually have up to 400 teams in these playoff commissioner services. So you can have a huge group and kind of do like an overall pool with that. And that's a lot of fun.
It is. And I think it's a good fundraiser personally. If you have a kids sports team, it's kind of like Super Bowl squares and it's easy to
Yeah.
set up. They can just sign up and you can pay $10 and then pay out half of it, keep the other half for your team or whatever you have. It's just a thought. It's something I'm thinking about doing with my kids sports teams personally.
That's awesome. No, that's a great idea to
Yeah.
do with that.
It's kinda like Super Bowl scores, they're so popular, but, again, there's you can have up to 400 teams like Logan said, and you can have any format you'd like. It's a lot very easy to set up, and if you have any questions at all or need any help, you can just email support@rtsports.com. Be happy to help you there, and it's free as well, correct?
Yeah, first year setting up this type of league is free with that.
Yep. So first year, if you've never done it, take advantage of that. It's a lot of fun to play in these playoff leagues. So that is everything we have to offer here at Real Time Fantasy Sports. Again, go to rtsports.com, click on that money league link, take advantage of all of our different playoff games. They're a lot of fun. And we're going to dive into those a little more on Thursday during the show, Logan. Go over more strategy aspects. We kind of hit on it a little already, but all different strategies you can do for these playoff games, Logan. They're a lot of fun and I highly suggest you check them out. Logan, thanks so much for coming on and explaining everything to all of our viewers out there. I'm sure they learned a lot, and hopefully they take advantage of these great playoff games.
Yeah, so many different contests to choose from, and it's fun to get on the action, especially with these playoffs the last couple of weeks. And there's so much strategy involved with that, so I absolutely love these playoff games.
That's why I like the playoffs too. So much strategy, like you said. It's a different animal than regular fantasy, and it's a lot of fun to play. So I highly encourage you to check that out. I'm excited about the playoffs too, like you mentioned already. It's kind of wide open.
Yeah,
I think the 49ers can be had because of Brock Purdy's uncertainty with what he's going to do in the big game. Baltimore, on the other hand, they look a little more scary than the rest of the AFC, but you never know. Anything can
yeah,
happen.
you never know, and
Baltimore's playing really
there
well too.
it could be a very tough task for both sides. I feel like there are several teams that I could honestly see coming out of each conference. So we'll see how it shakes out.
Exactly. Again, go to rtsports.com, click on that Money League link, see all these playoff offerings on there. Thanks again for Logan for joining me. Really appreciate it. This has been Jeff Power with Real Time Fantasy Sports. Enjoy the playoffs, everyone.